Have you ever thought about someone and almost instantly they called or sent you a message? Or maybe you and a close friend, or even your twin, said the exact same words at the same moment, without any planning. These strange coincidences often make us wonder, is there more to human connection than meets the eye? Could our minds be connected in ways science has not yet fully explained? This question brings us to two fascinating ideas: quantum entanglement and telepathy. One comes from the cutting edge of physics, the other from the realm of human experience and mystery. At first glance, they seem worlds apart, one rooted in mathematics and experiments, the other in stories, intuition, and ancient traditions. But what if the two are not as separate as they appear? Could quantum entanglement help us understand telepathy? Let's start with the science. Quantum entanglement is one of the strangest and most powerful discoveries in modern physics. It happens when two particles, like photons or electrons, become linked in such a way that the state of one immediately affects the state of the other, no matter how far apart they are. If you measure one particle and find it spinning up, the other particle will instantly be spinning down, even if it is light years away. Einstein himself was deeply puzzled by this. He called it spooky action at a distance because it seemed to break the most fundamental rule of the universe, that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. Yet, experiments have confirmed again and again that entanglement is real. In fact, in 2022, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to scientists who proved beyond doubt that entangled particles truly share information instantly. So, what does this have to do with telepathy? Well, let's think about what telepathy means. It is the idea that two minds can share thoughts, feelings, or information directly without using words, sounds, or signals. Many people claim to have experienced this, especially twins. Some twins say they can sense each other's emotions, or even physical pain, across great distances. Parents and children often report similar experiences. Skeptics argue that this is just coincidence or selective memory. We notice when it happens, but forget the times it does not. And it is true that mainstream science does not officially accept telepathy as proven. But what if these stories hint at something real, something subtle, and something science has not yet been able to measure? Here is where the bridge appears. If particles can be entangled, why not brains? After all, our brains are made of billions of neurons, and those neurons rely on quantum processes at a very tiny scale. Some scientists and philosophers suggest that consciousness itself might be quantum in nature. If that is the case, then perhaps minds could, in rare cases, become entangled just like particles. Imagine two people who are emotionally close, a pair of twins, a parent and child, or even lifelong friends. Their deep bond might create conditions that allow for a kind of quantum link. Just as two particles once connected can remain linked across space, two human minds might remain connected in ways we don't fully understand. Let's take a step back. Quantum entanglement teaches us that separation might be an illusion. The universe is not a set of isolated parts, but an interconnected whole. When two particles are entangled, it doesn't matter how far apart they move. Their connection transcends distance. If reality works this way at the smallest scale, why not at larger scales too? Ancient spiritual traditions from all over the world have long spoken about this unity. The idea that we are all one is found in Hinduism, Buddhism, and mystical branches of Christianity and Islam. Indigenous cultures often describe an invisible web that connects all beings. In a way, quantum physics may simply be giving us new language to describe what humans have intuited for centuries. But what about evidence? Are there any scientific experiments that support the idea of telepathic connection? There have been some intriguing studies. For example, researchers placed two people in separate, soundproof rooms. One person was shown flashing lights, while the other person sat quietly. In some cases, the brain activity of a second person seemed to echo the patterns of the first, as if some kind of information had passed between them. The results were not strong enough to convince the wider scientific community, but they were curious enough to spark further research. There are also countless personal stories. People describe knowing a loved one was in danger before getting the news. Others say they felt sudden waves of emotion that matched what a faraway friend was going through. While these are not scientific proof, the sheer number of such experiences across cultures and centuries cannot be ignored. The real question is not whether telepathy is proven. It is whether our current scientific tools are advanced enough to measure it. After all, for centuries people believed lightning was supernatural until science developed the tools to study electricity. Perhaps one day we will have instruments that can detect the hidden patterns of consciousness and reveal whether telepathic connections are real. Let's imagine for a moment what it would mean if human minds really could be entangled. Communication could become instantaneous and wordless. Long-distance relationships might feel as if the other person were right there with you. Empathy could move beyond imagination into direct experience. You wouldn't just understand someone's pain, you would literally feel it. Of course, there are challenges too. If telepathy were real, privacy would take on a whole new meaning. Could people read your thoughts without permission? Would we need mental shields the way we now use passwords? The possibilities are both exciting and unsettling. But whether or not telepathy is proven, quantum entanglement already shows us something profound. The universe is not built on separation, but on connection. At the deepest level, everything is linked. Our bodies, our minds, and even our sense of individuality may just be different expressions of one greater whole. So the next time you think of someone and they suddenly call, or when you and a friend share the same thought at the same instant, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, was it coincidence, or was it a tiny glimpse into the hidden fabric of reality? Quantum physics tells us that spooky connections are possible. Human experience tells us that telepathic moments are real to those who feel them. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Our universe may be stranger, richer, and more interconnected than we can yet imagine. And maybe, just maybe, our minds are already entangled. If you found this fascinating, subscribe for more insights where science meets mystery, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your own experiences with telepathic moments.